What's up, everybody? We are on day 113 of our Bible in a Year series. We are starting First Chronicles today. And if you've not read it before, this is not one that is super popular for people to read, but this is why it's important to get in and read through the entire Bible and not just go with verses that happen to line up with the subject matter. Um, so First Chronicles is chronicling information. The beginning is genealogies. Then we get into some other stuff specific with Israel. We're not going to get into that today, though. Today is going to be just really genealogies, but this is important because it ties Jesus back into the Old Testament. It shows Jesus as the son of David, and it shows God fulfilling the promises that he made, right? So it's not going to be super exciting and fun to read, but it is important nonetheless. It's in the Bible for a reason. We need to read it. We need to study it, um, and take it to heart. Take what we can from it. The God keeps His promises. He is a good God. So let's jump straight in. First Chronicles chapter 1. Adam, Seth, Enosh, Kenan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Japheth's sons, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. I'm also going to go through these kind of quickly because there's a lot of verses in these, and a lot of them is just names. So there's not going to be a whole lot of reason to stop, but just throwing that out there. Verse 6. Gomer's sons, Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. Javan's sons, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Rodanim. Ham's sons, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Cush's sons, Seba, Havilah, Sapta, Rama, and Sabteka. Rama's sons, Sheba and Dedan. Cush fathered Nimrod, who was the first to become a great warrior on earth. Mizraim fathered the people of Lud, Enam, Lehab, Naphtah, Pathros, Kashla. The Philistines came from them, and Kaphtor. Canaan fathered Sidon as his firstborn, and Heth, as well as the Jebusites, Amorites, Girgashites, Hivites, Arkites, Sinites, Arvadites, Zemarites, and Hamathites. Shem's sons, Elam, Ashur, Arpak, Arpakshad, Lud, Aram, Uz, Hol, Gether, and Meshech. If you are new to this series, you've not yet learned how much I love just randomly pronouncing all these names. So you're gonna hear that today. Verse 18. Arpakshad fathered Shelah, and Shelah fathered Eber. Two sons were born to Eber. One of them was named Peleg because the other was divided during his lifetime, and the name of his brother was Joktan. Joktan fathered Almodad, Sheleph, Hazarmaveth, Jerah, Hadaram, Uzal, Diklah, Ebal, Ibn Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All of these were Joktan's sons. You guys remember Jobab. That was a good name. Verse 24. Shem, Arpakshad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah, and Abram. That is Abraham. Abraham's sons, Isaac and Ishmael. These are their family records. Nebaioth, Ishmael's firstborn, Keter, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jeter, Naphish, and Kedema. These were Ishmael's sons. So, and you'll see it'll kind of do this. Start off from the beginning, Adam, and it works all the way down to Abraham. Then Abraham, we're going to keep working down. So that's what this is showing, the line of descendants all the way down through. Verse 32. The sons born to Keturah, Abraham's concubine, Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan's sons, Sheba and Dedan. Midian's sons, Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Eldah. All of these were Keturah's descendants. Abraham fathered Isaac, Isaac's sons, Esau and Israel. Esau's sons, Eliphaz, Reuel, Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. Eliphaz's sons, Teman, Omar, Ziphi, Gatam, and Kenaz. And by Timnah, Amalek. Reuel's sons, Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. Verse 38, Seir's sons, Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anna, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. Lotan's sons, Hori and Homam. Timnah was Lotan's sister. Shobal's sons, Alian, Manahath, Ebal, Shephni, and Onam. Zibeon's sons, Aya and Anah. Anah's sons, Dishon. Dishon's sons, Hamran, Eshban, Ithran, and Shiran. Ezer's sons, Bilhan, Zavan, and Jachan. Dishon's sons, Uz and Aran. I like to imagine I'm pronouncing these correctly. Probably not. Verse 38. These were the kings who reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the Israelites. Bela, son of Beor. Bela's town was named Dinhabah. When Bela died, Jobab, son of Zerah, and Bozrah reigned in his place. When Jobab died, Husham from the land of the Timonites reigned in his place. When Husham died, Hadad, son of Bedad, who defeated Midian in the territory of Moab, reigned in his place. Hadad's town was named Avith. When Hadad died, Samlah from Masrekah reigned in his place. When Samlah died, Shaul from Rehoboth on the Euphrates River reigned in his place. When Shaul died, Baal-Hanan, son of Achbor, reigned in his place. When Baal-Hanan died, Hadad reigned in his place. Hadad's city was named Pai, and his wife's name was Mehetabel, daughter of Matred, daughter of Me-Zahab. Then Hadad died. Edom's chiefs, Timnah, Alva, Jetheth, Oholibamah, Elah, Pinah, Kenaz, Teman, Mibzar, Magdiel, and Iram. These were Edom's chiefs. Chapter 2. These were Israel's sons: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. Judah's sons, Onan, and Shelah. These three were born to him by Bath-shua, the Canaanite woman. Judah's firstborn, was evil in the Lord's sight, so he put him to death. Judah's daughter-in-law, Tamar, bore Perez and Zerah to him. Judah had 5 sons in all. Perez's sons, Hezron and Hamul. Zerah's sons, Zimri, Ethan, Heman, Calcol, and Dara, 5 in all. Carmi's son, Ikar, who brought trouble on Israel when he was unfaithful by taking the things set apart for destruction. Ethan's sons, Azariah. Hezron's sons who were born to him, Jerahmeel, Ram, and Chelubai. Ram fathered Amminadab, and Amminadab fathered Nahshon, a leader of Judah's descendants. Nahshon fathered Salma, and Salma fathered Boaz. Boaz fathered Obed, and Obed fathered Jesse. Jesse fathered Eliab, his firstborn. Abinadab was born second, Shimea third, Nathaniel fourth, Radai fifth, Ozem sixth, and David seventh. Their sisters were Zeruiah and Abigail. Zeruiah's three sons, Abishai, Joab, and Ashael. Amasa's mother was Abigail, and his father was Jether the Ishmaelite. Caleb, son of Hezron, had children by his wife, Azubah, and by Jerioth. These were Azubah's sons, Jesher, Shobab, and Ardon. When Azubah died, Caleb married Ephrath, and she bore her to him. Her fathered Uri, and Uri fathered Bezalel. After this, Hezron slept with the daughter of Machir, the father of Gilead. Hezron had married her when she was 60 years old, and she bore Segub to him. Segub fathered Jair, who possessed 23 towns in the land of Gilead, but Gesher and Aram captured Jair's villages along with Kenath and its surrounding villages, 60 towns. All of these were the descendants of Machir, father of Gilead. After Hezron's death in Caleb Ephrathath, his wife Abijah bore Asher to him. He was the father of Tekoa. The sons of Jerahmeel, Hezron's firstborn, Ram his firstborn, Bunah, Oren, Ozem, and Ahijah. Jerahmeel had another wife named Atara, who was the mother of Onam. The sons of Ram, Jerahmeel's firstborn, Maaz, Jamin, and Eker. Onam's sons, Shammai and Jada. Shammai's sons, Nadab and Abishur. Abishur's wife was named Abigail, who bore Aban and Molid to him. Nadab's sons, Sealed and Apayim, Seled, not Sealed, Seled, died without children. Apayim's sons, Ishi's sons, Shishan. Shishan's descendants, Alai, the sons of Jada, brother of Shammai, Jether, and Jonathan. Jether died without children. Jonathan's sons, Pelath and Zaza, these were the descendants of Jerahmeel. Shishan had no sons, only daughters, but he did have an Egyptian servant whose name was Jara. Shishan gave his daughter in marriage to his servant Jara, and she bore Attai to him. Attai fathered Nathan, and Nathan fathered Zabad. Zabad fathered Ephiel, and Ephiel fathered Obed. Obed fathered Jehu, and Jehu fathered Azariah. Azariah fathered Helez, and Helez fathered Elisha. Elisha fathered Sismai, and Sismai fathered Shalom. Shalom fathered Jechemiah, and Jechemiah fathered Elishama. The sons of Caleb, brother of Jerahmeel, Misha, his firstborn, fathered Ziph, and Marisha, his second son, fathered Hebron. Hebron's sons, Korah, Tapu, Rekem, and Shema. Shema fathered Raham, who fathered Jorkiam, and Rekem fathered Shemai. Shemai's son was Mahon, and Mahon fathered Beth Zur. Caleb's concubine, Ephah, was the mother of Haran, Moza, and Gazaz. Haran fathered Gazaz, Jadi's son, Regem, Jotham, Geshen, Pelet, Ephah, and Shaph. Caleb's concubine, Makkah, was the mother of Sheber and Tirhana. She was also the mother of Shaph, Madmana's father, and of Shiva, the father of Machbenah and Gibeah. Caleb's daughter was Aksa. These were Caleb's descendants. The sons of Ephrathah's firstborn, Shobal fathered Kiriath Jearim, Salma fathered Bethlehem, and Haraph fathered Beth Gader. These were the descendants of Shobal, the father of Kiriath Jearim, Haroah, half of the Manahathites, and the families of Kiriath Jearim, the Ithrites, Kohathites, Shumathites, and Mishraites, the Zorathites and Ethelites descended from these. Salma's descendants, Bethlehem, the Netophathites, Atroth, Beth Joab, and half of the Manahathites and Zorites, and the families of scribes who lived in Jabez, the Tirathites, Shemethites, and Succothites. These are the Kenites who come from Hamath, the father of Rechab's family. Chapter 3, and we are on David. These were David's sons who were born to him in Hebron. Amnon was the firstborn of Ahinoam of Jezreel. Daniel was born second by Abigail of Carmel. Absalom, son of Maacah, daughter of King Talmai of Geshur, was third. Adonijah, son of Haggith, was fourth. Shephatiah by Abigail was fifth. And Ithream by David's wife Eglah was sixth. 6 sons were born to David in Hebron, where he reigned 7 years and 6 months, and he reigned in Jerusalem 33 years. These sons were born to him in Jerusalem: Shimea, Shobab, Nathan, and Solomon. These 4 were born to him by Bathsheba, daughter of Amiel. David's other sons, Ibhar, Elishua, Eliphelet, Nogah, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Eliada, and Eliphelet. 9 sons. These were all David's sons with their sister Tamar, in addition to the sons by his concubines. Solomon's son was Rehoboam. His son was Abijah, his son Asa, his son Jehoshaphat, his son Jehoram, his son Ahaziah, his son Joash, his son Amaziah, his son Azariah, his son Jotham, his son Ahaz, his son Hezekiah, his son Manasseh, his son Amon, his son Josiah. Josiah's sons: Johanan was the firstborn, Jehoiakim second, Zedekiah third, and Shallum fourth. Jehoiakim's sons, I don't know why I struggle with that. His sons Jeconiah and Zedekiah. The sons of Jeconiah, the captive, his sons Sheltiel, Malchiram, Pedaiah, Shenazar, Jechamiah, Hoshama, and Nadabiah. Pedaiah's sons Zerubbabel, I remember his name. That was a fun one to pronounce. Zerubbabel and Shimi. Zerubbabel's sons Meshullam and Hananiah, with their sister Shelomith, and 5 others: Hashubah, Ohal, Berechiah, Hazadiah, and Jushab Hissad. Hananiah's descendants, Peliath, Jeshaiah, and the sons of Rephaiah, Arnon, Obadiah, and Shechaniah. The son of Shechaniah, Shemaiah. Shemaiah's sons, Hattush, Igal, Bariah, Neriah, and Shaphat. 6 Neriah's sons, Elionai, Hezekiah, and Azrikam. 3 Elionai's sons, Hodaviah, Eliashib, Peliah, Akub, Johanan, Delai, and Anani. 7. Alrighty. That is it for our reading. I do have some questions, so we'll ask those and maybe discuss a little bit. See where it goes. Question 1. The genealogies in chapter 1 connect Adam to Israel. How does this broad sweep deepen our theological understanding of God's redemptive plan as a unified narrative culminating in Christ as the fulfillment of the human story. So we see, like it says, we see Adam going all the way down to Israel. So the original intention we see in the garden God made was for Adam and Eve to go out and subdue the earth, right? I think really whatever your view is of Genesis, of the garden, of creation, I think pretty much everyone agrees that Adam was there. He had a job to do, and he did not do that job. It's important seeing the link here because we know later on we're going to see the second Adam. And we see that from the first Adam, all sin entered the world, and through the second Adam, which is Jesus, all sin was paid for. Now, this is linking, obviously all we've gotten to is Israel so far. We will eventually, we will see all the way to Jesus. And that's one of the reasons why the New Testament authors start with, some of the New Testament authors start with genealogies with the Gospels, is to show Jesus. And they will do, there's two we see primarily. There is, we'll get to them. But they're showing Jesus through to David through Mary, and Jesus going back to David through Joseph as well. But yeah, so it's specifically with like God's sovereignty, right? So looking at it from that point of view, even with Adam royally screwing everything up, God still worked out his ultimate plan for everything to be paid for through Jesus. And it was through a descendant of Adam. Okay. Question 2. The emphasis on Judah and David's line in chapters 2 and 3 highlights God's covenant with David. How might this focus challenge us to reflect on the theological significance of divine election and preserving a people for his purposes? So I think God decided he wanted to work through Israel. He said that he was going to come through the line of Judah. He made the covenant with Abraham. And all this time, and this is, I would say my belief, and I think there are a lot of other people that agree with this as well. If you're a Calvinist, you're not going to. But all this time, people had the free will to choose to do whatever they did. And God was operating with that. Now, God, here's the analogy I typically use. I know my kids so well. Pretty much all my kids. You could have them stand up in the center of a room and put all around them stools. And on each stool is a different snack food or candy or food, drink, whatever you want to say. All around them. I could tell you with a pretty high degree of certainty which item each of my kids will go for. Do they have the free will to choose? Well, yeah, they can choose whatever they want, but I know them well enough to make a really good guess based on who they are, how well I know them, their past preferences, things like that. I'm going to be able to pick out probably pretty accurately which one they're going to go for. How much more is God going to be able to do that with us, knowing that, first of all, he is perfect, he's all-knowing, and he knows us infinitely better than I know my children. So I don't see that as a contradiction as far as like free will and things like that goes. But also that does provide God the ability to see maybe an outcome and maybe not see an outcome, that's the wrong word. See what could happen and adjust accordingly in the actual, like in real time for us to change what's going to happen and how it's going to look later on down the line. Question 3. Because I think I answered 2. Yeah. So to finish up too, it's just, I mean, God knows what he wants to do, and he orchestrates it to make that happen for his purposes, which are better than ours. Question 3. Written for exiles, these genealogies rekindle identity and hope. How does this context invite us to wrestle with a theological truth that God's promises endure through disruption, sustaining his people through continuity and his eternal plan? So, Israel can look back on these and see, even while they're gone, even while they're in exile, even while it seems like it probably seems to them, at least some of them on the ground, God has given up on Israel. God is no longer doing anything with Israel. But they're able to look back on this and see God has not given up yet. Why would he all this stuff that's happened in the past, he's not given up. Why would he give up now? We've seen through all the past, he's kept his word through all of this. So we can trust he's going to keep his word now. Right? So this is similarly for us, building our view of what the character of God is. That's part of what this was intended for the Israelites as well. Yeah, I think that is it for today. But come back tomorrow. We're going to get into some more. There's going to be some more genealogies. This is part of it, but this is important. It's in the Bible for a reason. We need to read through and understand why it's there. So hopefully we're going to get into that and do some of that. But we are pushing up on time. So I'm going to end it for today. Appreciate everyone watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that. I enjoy seeing people's comments and being able to interact with people as well. Some when I have the possibility to. Word of mouth is the best way the podcast spreads. So if this has been a blessing to you, please share it with other people, and it can be a blessing to them as well. I'm trying to provide a resource for people to be able to be more consistent with reading their Bible daily. If they have someone they can read along with, then it makes it easier for them to read along. So you can jump in where we are now live, or you can start at the beginning and go all the way through. But I'm trying to provide a resource for people with that. So if it's been a blessing to you, share it with other people, and maybe it can be a blessing for them as well. Tomorrow we'll be continuing on in First Chronicles. I know it can seem kind of boring to read through, but there's a purpose behind it, and hopefully we're going to dig into scratch the surface, really just a little bit of what that purpose is. So don't forget to come back tomorrow. Thanks. God bless.